Welcome to Chat with Kat. A little bit different today. I'd like to welcome you to my channel. So this week I'm going to be showing you what I have done with the binders. I know last week I did say that I'm using this one for my works in progress and this one for my series Bible. So this week I'm going to show you the pages that I put in here. So let's get started, shall we? Let's move this one out of the way. All right. So when you open it up, you have your stickers and your little note papers, and then this is my system. So this is overview. So the overview pages, and this is how I set up my novel for taking notes and things like that. So yeah, so then we have the pocket with the little notebook, which I showed you last week. And before I begin, I just wanted to let everybody know that these sheets are a combination of information from Sarra Cannon, Alexa Dawn, Abby Emmons, and author Brittany Wang. And so I will be posting their channels in the information underneath this video if you're interested in theirs. Now some of this I have kept strictly the same way they set it up. In other instances I've actually combined some information from all of them, or I've created my own based on theirs. So I will get started. All right, so the first thing that you want to do when you start your work in progress is you want to do an overview. So this page right here was actually from Sarra Cannon. She does this for her series Bible. I decided it would be an awesome way to do for for my work in progress as well. So this covers one book. As you'll see, it's the novel overview with the hold on, I gotta get my glasses because I still can't see. With the title of the book, the genres, the subcategories, what tense, what POV, the main theme of the book, what's the main question or goal, what is the main conflict of the book, and what is the resolution. So this is basically just a cheat sheet for me to know how to set up my book. So that way, if I'm in the middle of it, I can always come back and look at it. All right, the next page I have in here is a romance arc. I actually based this off of I think it was Abby Emmons, but I went a step further and I created arcs for fantasy, mystery, romance, sci-fi, thriller, and so each book type will have its own arc. And so I just put a definition here to remind me of what a romance is, because sometimes when you're in the middle of writing you can kind of forget. So it has the book title, and a lot of romance books have a trope, which is you know, just popular themes. Like think of Hallmark. They have a trope. They have a system of stories where they have the same basic 4 stories, but they mix it up and they add to it to make it a little bit different each time. So excuse me. So I have my what's my trope, and then for their inner the driving force, which is their inner motivation, I want to know why do they resist each other. And for their outer goal or external motivation, each of them must overcome. So a love story is 2 people, a man and a woman, who each have something that they have to overcome. So that's that. And then the potential conflict from side characters. Now this is important because this adds a twist to your story. And then what's their happy ending? So what is the end goal for them? What do you want their romance to be? So that's the romance arc. And then you turn the page, and this is the writing plan. Now this was taken from Sarra Cannon, this first section, actually all of it, but this first section came from her general writing plan. And so it just has a start date, plot completed by, rough draft, deadline, and etc. all the way down to your target finish date. So this is your goal, this is when you want to be finished, and this is the actual day you finish. So it just keeps you on track. This bottom part is the final word count and the total production time. So how many words did you finish with and how long did it take you? And then these actually were part of her novel. Oh, that's not it. So then I added these little extra questions down there just as a general review of what I did with the book. So when I finish, I answer these questions, and yeah. So then the next thing is I have a word count tracker, and this is my daily my daily word goal and my final word goal. So as you can see, I have the date, today, and the goal. So what you do is you take whatever your final word goal is, you take whatever you wrote on that day, you subtract it from that, and you put it in this. And so this tells you how many you have left to write to reach this upper goal. Now I did take this from Sarra Cannon as a basis. She had sprints on there as well. I don't do sprints really, so I didn't feel like I needed that. So I left that off when I redid these pages, because her downloadable series, Bible and novel, is all in 8.5 by 5 or 8.5 by 11 size. As you can see, I had to cut mine down to A5 binder size. Now this, I'm not sure who I got this from. It's either Abby Emmons or Brittany Wang. I'm leaning toward Abby Emmons. This one is great to do ahead of time so that you know what your log line or your pitch is going to be. You know, that little sentence or blurb. It's usually one sentence long that is kind of like a pop of information that intrigues your reader. This is your book blurb, which goes on the back cover, and your synopsis. So this is a general paragraph about whatever you're writing, the book contents. All right, so that is my overview section. Then we get into the world, because this is really critical for your fantasy novels, but it's also good to know for your real world novels as well, because you have to know where they live. So I've created a main world profile, and I ask, is my world a fantasy or supernatural, or is it the real world? And then I just have some questions down here. I have the name of the world, what time and place does the book take place in, is this a contemporary real world setting, will it take place in one location primarily or other locations? Just a general overview. Now my location profile, this is for the specific place where your story is going to take place. So it's within that main world. And so I have, is it a village, town, city, or another word that you're calling it? What's the location name? And then I pop these in: setting, laws and politics, economy, religions, people groups, various things like that. Now this is just for your background setting, characters, and shops. So this is a spot to list your shops, who works there, what role they play in the story. And then this is for any recurring characters that are just minor, that don't really have a part, they just show up every now and then, so that you can keep them in straight. Because if you go to the cafe and you call waiter Bob in one chapter, and then a couple chapters later you call him waiter Steve, people are going to be confused. So if you want to keep the same characters, you just put them in there. So it's just a minor, not very big important things. And then I have a notes page, just for any extra ideas or scenes, anything like that I want to put in there. So then my characters, this is where I plot out what my characters are, who they look like, everything like that. So I have this main character is a protagonist or antagonist. Now a lot of people will separate these two and have two separate sheets, but they're basically the same questions for both of them. So I figured, why not just put them all together? I did leave a space for an image, like if I come up with a little drawing or character art or something, and I can put it in there to remind me what they look like. So it has their name, basic information. The only thing that's different is their motivation. So for the villain or the antagonist, the motivation would be, why are they evil? Why do they do what they do? For the protagonist, it's basically the opposite. Why are they good? Why do they want to be good? That kind of thing. So that's that. And then we have now a faith arc. Now, I found this with any other series Bibles or character profiles or anything. And the reason I came up with this myself is because I write primarily faith books. I write books that deal with someone's faith. And so for me, this is important. So I want to know, are they Christian? Are they atheist? Are they religious? Are they devout, lukewarm, or do they totally hate God altogether? What church do they attend, if they do? What ministries are they part of? When did they begin their faith journey? How does their faith affect their life, their relationships, and how does it affect what the inciting key event is in the novel? And then what lesson do they need to learn? Because every book has a lesson in it, whether you know it or not. So I want to know what these characters need to learn by the end of the story. And then a little short, at the beginning of the story, their personality, they were this way. Like at the beginning they were judgmental, hateful, or whatever, or grumpy, and at the end of the story they will be forgiving, loving, peaceful, etc. So that's important for my books. Not everybody does that, which is fine. Now this is from Sarra Cannon. Most of this is from Sarra Cannon's downloads, but I've tweaked it a little bit to make it fit mine. So the inner journey of the character. Now this is all about the main characters. What's their deepest desire, their greatest need, their top 3 favorite values in life, things like that. Any backstory that I need to know. And this deals with both inner and outer motivation. So your outer is your desire and your inner is what they need. So this is what they want and what they need. And so goal, motivation, conflict. And so this little section right here, actually this whole page, will be put into my little mini booklet that I showed you the other day as a part of the cheat sheet. And I'll show the booklet at another time because otherwise the video will take way too long. So now these 4 questions are actually part of Sarah's character profile, or actually novel writing profile. But when I was coming up with the way that I set it up, I thought that this would be better put here because I feel that these questions directly relate to their inner and outer goals. And so the dramatic question, what's the big goal? What are they facing? Why don't they want to change? Or what's preventing them from changing? What's at stake if they don't do whatever they need to do? Or if they do what they need to do, what happens? And the Q factor, this is like a surprise, kind of. I don't know. I'll have to look that one up again. This is, yeah, so that's that one. All right, and so then I also added, this was from, I want to say Brittany Wang, but it could have been Abby. Character growth. I thought this was a really great, like a summary of them. So at the beginning of the novel, the character was this way, and in the middle the character was this way, and at the end the character will be. This is where I want them to go. And so this is the other character summary, the external goal, and it just walks you through what's their goal, their motivation, their specific actions that they need to take to reach that goal, their stakes, the obstacles, and then this is their what do they need, what are they learning, and so yeah. Oh, and I just wanted to say, I'm using a camera app called Irian View, Irian Cam. It turns your cell phone into a computer camera, which is good because I don't have a computer camera, but occasionally it lags. So if it lags, the video lags a bit, it's not anything that I've done, it's just that the camera lags a little. All right, and so I have 2 sets of those because obviously I have a protagonist and an antagonist. Then we come to the side character page. Now, side characters are basically the sidekicks for the main characters. Now, I have a couple sheets of these, but they only get 1 page because obviously I don't need to go quite as in depth with them as the main characters. So they have the role in the novel, their brief description, the personality, backstory, etc. And then they also get those same 4 questions that I asked the main characters. So that's my side characters. And then we come to minor characters. Now this is a difference between the ones that are in the world building section, because these are minor characters where they might have brief speaking roles, or they might add something to the story that is critical to it, and so they need to be in there, but we don't need to know their entire history because they're only going to be in there for a short time. So these are for those little guest appearances, I guess you want to call them. And so I have 6 spots for those. I just have their name, their description, occupation, and their role in the novel. So this is basically to keep track of those characters when they need to come in. And that takes care of my character section. So then we go to the novel section. Now this is basically set up like Sarra Cannon's. She divides her format into 4 sections. Act 1 is the beginning, and so you have the opening hook, introduce the mystery, the antagonist, your first plot point, and then citing key event. Now hers is much longer. She's actually, because she also added those 4 questions mixed into the rest, and so but I kind of squished some of them together, like the first plot point, the door of no return, the inciting key and key event. Those were all separated, but for me they're basically, I think of them as the same way, so it doesn't bother me to have them mushed together. Then the second one is Act 2A. The reason why Act 2 is separated into A and B is because that is the meat of your story. That is what's going to be the most action. That's where it all, and so I really like the way Sarah explained it, that, you know, so it takes up much of the space, so it should have 2 sections because it just makes it easier to plot. So Act 2A, after all the beginning stuff, there's a new world and a new plan. They have tests, challenges, and reactions to that plan, and then they have an attack or a first pinch point, and then in the midpoint, this is about the middle of the novel, the second plot point is introduced, and the mirror moment comes in. For a full description, I will link her video below. Act 2B has a new plan, the reaction to the midpoint. So something goes wrong or goes right with the midpoint, and so they have to come up with a new plan. Usually it's something goes wrong. So now they have to make harder choices and more tests, and they have to push for the goal. Now then they get a second attack or pinch point, and then the third plot point and the second doorway of no return is introduced. So then we move on to the final act, which is Act 3, and the danger increases, they come up with a final plan and they storm the castle. Then there's a black moment where they think all hope is lost. They have the final battle, and then there's a resolution, whether it's a happy one, a sad one, or whatever. I prefer the happy ones. I don't like movies that have sad endings. So I almost never will write. In fact, a book that has a really sad ending. Then we have a scenes list. Now what this is for is just a brain dump for various scenes that I might think. As I fill out my characters and my novel and stuff, I can write down what order the scenes are, just basically that. And again, a notes page and a glossary for any unfamiliar words. So that is pretty much my work in progress. Yeah, so that's exciting. Now, for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through everything in the series Bible. Excuse me. Because mainly, it's basically the same as the work in progress. But it does have a few changes. So, let's see, does this have? No, this is blank. Okay. So, as you see, it has the overview of the world, the characters, and the novels. Now, this one, the only real difference that I have in between my work in progress and my series is the overview, because instead of dealing with one book, it's dealing with more than one. Like this one's going to have 13 books, so it has to cover all 13. So I have a series review. Tells me the type of book, the genre, everything. Will they feature the same character throughout or different? How will they interconnect all the novels? What conflicts and characters will go throughout all the books? A fantasy arc, like I said, remember I created these. This is my fantasy arc. It basically talks about technology, science, magic systems, if there's magic in the fantasy, if there's any religions, conflicts and things like that, and different creatures and stuff, and what happens if you do use whatever technology or magic system you have. Then I have a notes section for that. This is my series novel overview. So this is basically every novel in the series has its own section. So you have your book number and your title. And then it has a series of questions. The main story question, how does this connect to the overarching theme of the novels, of the series, other threads or breadcrumbs woven into the book, how do the main characters grow, and the resolution and possible lead into the next book in the series. So I have multiple pages of these because, like I said, I'm doing 13 books. So then we come to this one. This is the series thread overview. This is genius because I've always wanted to write a series, but I was afraid to, because when I wrote my trilogy, the Never Forsaken trilogy, just keeping those three, the threads or the breadcrumbs, the storylines connected was a challenge because I didn't have the system. I kind of made notes, stuck them in a binder, and then I'd have to frantically look through them all and find the I remember that one. Maybe I should do that, but all right, so I'm trying to hurry. So basically this is, so if I want to introduce a storyline in book one, like say Roger stole something, but I don't want to pick that story up again until book 4, then I can write that. Okay, so remember in book 1, Roger stole that necklace. So what happened to Roger in this one? So basically I can keep track of all of my story threads here, which is going to be nice because that way I won't get confused, I won't forget. Because have you ever read a novel where or a series and an author introduces something in the first or second book and then it's an important thread and you're wondering what happened to it by the end of the series because they never mentioned it again? That's because they lost it. So yeah, I'm really glad about that. And then we have a summary, and we're onto the world. And basically that's it. So yeah, that's my my series binder and my work in progress. And then before I close, do you remember this book? I'm still not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm thinking about maybe making it part of my my Bible studies, but I don't know. I already have a planner, so I don't need a daily planner. So what do you think? I would really like your input on this. If you could drop me a line in the comments and let me know what you think I should do with this, I would greatly appreciate it. And I think that just about covers it. I am, before you go, make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you like it. That lets Facebook or YouTube know that you like this content and you want more of it. Also, please subscribe, ring the bell, comment, share this video with your friends and family, and yeah, that's about it. So I will talk to you later. Have a good day. Bye.